What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Noname back at it again with another Giants update video slash NFL general update video. I haven't really talked about the new CBA. Technically rumors have been going around since past summer. Officially, of course, the owners voted on it just this past Thursday, I think, right down here in Lower Manhattan. They voted on it. They voted to pass it. But of course, just like the last time the CBA was passed, it's only the only good things we heard was from the owner side and the NFL side. And just like last time, the players don't like it, but for some reason they're not exactly expressing what exactly the problem is that they have with it. I'm getting to that a little bit, but first I want to address the Yannick Ngakoue news. Today, it's coming out that he wants $22 million a year. Right now, I'm on CBSSports.com. Cody Benjamin is the article I'm looking at, but there's many other articles out there that you can look at. I know for a fact NFL.com has an article on it, probably Sports Illustrated. Look to see some Giants websites. They might pick up on it because, of course, he was one of the targets for Giants free agency. But Yannick Ngakoue, and I made a video on this when I talked about possible free agents that we could sign in the offseason. I said that we should only sign Yannick if we basically plan to have not that much cap left over. Because if we sign Yannick, and in that video I gave him like a $19 million contract, which I thought was already too much for him. And let me say, I'm not insulting Yannick as a person, as a player or anything. He's a good pass rusher. He's a good player. You know what I'm saying? But that's all he is. He's good. You could argue he's very good. He's consistent, and that's certainly something that we really need on the Giants defense. He's consistent. He's good. He successfully gets to the quarterback year in, year out. But he's not much more than that. He's not good in the run defense. He's only good if you're trying to get off after the quarterback. He's still young, but I think he's like 25, 26. So at this age, there's not really much change from what you're going to get from him. So I don't expect to see an amazing improvement in the run defense on his end. And also, he's not worth $22 million. Going back to him being good, not great, not one of the best players in the NFL. The guys who should be getting paid $22 million are the Aaron Donalds of the world. Well, Aaron Donald is getting $20 million, but, guys like Von Miller, Khalil Mack, those guys. But the reason he's asking for this is because, of course, he knows the market. This is the money you're going to get paid when you're the next guy up. It's kind of how the NFL has worked for, forever, since the last CBA, essentially. The next guy up is the guy that gets the big contract, not necessarily the guy who deserves the contract. And Yannick is that next guy up in a free agent class of pass rushers where the next best player or the only player on his level is a Shaq Barrett, who's only had one good year in the NFL, where he's had, I think he had like around 20 sacks this year, which is amazing. But once again, the reason nobody's throwing his name out there is because he's older and because it's the only year he's had more than like 5 sacks in a season. So Yannick for 22 mil, I didn't want to give him 19 mil. So you guys know how I feel about giving him $22 million a year. And we do have a good amount of cap space. But just like I said in that free agency video, what you want to do, what the front office and John Mara, you want to do what they claim they're going to do, and that is spend money on a bunch of really good players to fill in as many holes as you can so that you have a good amount of money left over for the draft and for in-season moves. Say like halfway through the season, before the trade deadline and whatnot, the team, like maybe we're 3-4 or something, and we need another wide receiver, not necessarily a number 1 guy, but just another weapon for Daniel Jones. We have money to actually do that. That's part of the reason why we made a trade for Leonard Williams last year instead of signing some type of defensive tackle that could help improve our run defense. It's because we didn't have the cap space necessary to make that move, and we were forced into a trade that now, looking back on, it's probably one of the worst moves of Gelman's tenure here as the Giants general manager. But if we're going to do anything in the offseason, at least free agency-wise, I'm all for signing guys on cheap contracts or, cost-effective contracts that's, very proportional to the type of player they are. That's what I'm all for. And that was one of the scenarios I had in that video. I was talking about even if we were to sign one big-name free agent, I'm looking to sign a Jack Conklin. That way we could probably take an Isaiah Simmons in the draft because we addressed the tackle position. But that's just me. But I'm for signing guys like a Corey Littleton, like a Calvin Noy, like a Byron Jones maybe if he wants to come down a little bit on what he's demanding. There's guys out there. There's a lot of good players out there that could fill in a lot of holes for this Giants team. But if we go and we give $22 million to one guy, it kind of scraps all those plans. And I don't want a repeat of 2016. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's more likely that you have a repeat of 2016 in which the Giants went out. They signed 3 big-name free agents in Janoris Jenkins, Damon Harrison, and Olivier Vernon, none of whom are on the team anymore, by the way, and this was just 3-4 years ago. We signed those 3 guys. They helped improve the defense a lot, and then the defense overperformed in the regular season. Giants got to the playoffs. We didn't even win a playoff game. We did not come close to winning a playoff game. That's because we signed 3 guys that used up all of our cap space and didn't use anything on the offensive line. And then the next year we went 3-13, and we were basically in the rebuild that we are right now. Get Saquon next year, we get Daniel Jones, and then here we are right now. I don't want a repeat of that because we're already in the middle of a rebuild. And by giving Yannick all this money, I don't know, man, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like we're going in the right direction if we do that. Now, going back to the CBA and how Yannick and, this whole situation relates to the CBA is because I'm on the player side of the CBA, in being that it's not really as good as the owners are making it out to seem. I very highly recommend that you guys go to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's. I can't speak. Pat McAfee's. Pat McAfee. If you guys watch NFL News, you know who he is. Former player for the Colts. He has a great podcast, and on it, just the other day, he talked about the CBA, and he talked about why it is that a lot of people are on the owner's side versus the player's side, and he does his best to break down why we should be supporting players instead of the owners. To keep it short for you guys, because like I said, I really recommend that you go check it out. He has a great video on it. It's basically that the extra game that the players are getting, and the CBA proposal is that there's going to be 17 regular season games now instead of 16, and also there's going to be 7 playoff teams instead of 6 playoff teams from each conference. Now, first of all, before I go into what he says, the most common sense thing that you could get out of this is that more games means more chance for injuries. In a league which has been trying to crack down on injuries, especially, those around the cranium, your head injuries and whatnot, but injuries in general, the NFL has been trying to crack down on it by essentially passing all these rules and, new penalties and flags and whatnot for, whether it's unnecessary roughness or certain types of hits and whatnot. And then they go and they add another game, which increases that chance exponentially for any player to get injured. And not only did they add another game in the regular season, they added another playoff team, which I think what the rules are now is that the only team that's going to get a bye week is the first seed. Well, by taking away the bye week from the second seed, you're also increasing the chance of injury for that second seed team. And in my opinion, it kind of puts a little too much power in the first seed. Whoever gets the first seed in the past couple years, we've seen them go to the Super Bowl and them win the Super Bowl. I don't know if you necessarily want to give more power to them, actually have it be a little bit more competitive, give the wildcard teams a chance and whatnot. But that's, a different way of thinking. That's more the tournament thinking instead of the real life injury thinking. But the other reason which Pat McAfee broke down is that for that extra game, the players aren't even get paid off of their contract, in proportion to their contract. They're getting like something around $250,000 for that game, which to us normal people is a lot of money. But to the guys that are making $22 million a year, that's literally like pocket change to them. And why would they go and play that game for, when it's not even worth it to them, risking their lives out there, risking their bodies out there. And that's something that's been present in the NFL in general. It's why these guys demand so much money in the more recent years. It's because the league has been sort of shifting and changing to where the owners want to make as much money as they can. The NFL as, an organization has been getting a bit more money hungry, and they want to just make as much money as they can without really thinking about the players as people. They just see the players as players as a way, to get to their ends, So the players, I can't really blame them. I can't really blame guys like Yannick for going out there and trying to get as much money as they can, because it's a very short career being a pro athlete in the NFL. And with this new CBA, with it being that there might be an extra game, there might be an extra playoff team, I believe there's other stuff like about they're not really addressing, healthcare after the NFL. I think they're getting 5 years when, if we're really going to be realistic here, they should be getting lifetime healthcare after playing the NFL, especially given the history of concussions and CTE and all that. There's a lot of things that don't go for the players, but the owners are spinning it in such a way to the media and to, the fans that they're trying to make the players look like the selfish, greedy guys that don't want to really step up to the plate when it's exactly the opposite. And like I said, check out Pat McAfee's video. The same thing happened back in 2010, and it's really all a PR game. The NFL organization got out ahead of the players and, you know, leaking the positive things, making the positive spin on it months before the players are doing anything. And all the players are doing right now, which, like I said, I'm on their side, but I gotta be real with you guys. They just look like a bunch of spoiled brats on Twitter, because all they're doing is saying, oh no, I'm not for it, but they're not giving any reason. They're just saying no. They're not giving the people any reason. They're not giving any explanation. So they do look like, you know, kind of rich, selfish dudes instead of actually giving us something to go off of. But that's what I got for y'all today. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Would you sign Yannick Ngakoue, or is he severely overpaid? Or will he be severely overpaid like you think he will? And what do you think about the new CBA? That's it for now. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out.